Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. We're back with another live stream, playing Minecraft, but we're not going to be in the live stream world today. We're just going to be checking out some of the new features, primarily because I do not have as much time this week or today, I should say, as other days. So yeah. Because I'm gonna be going and getting Ghost of Yote later today. So instead, I thought I would come into this world and take a look at some of the new features that have been added with the new update. So yeah, um, but yeah, so we're gonna be talking about some of the new features. First things first, I say we talk about the uh, we start off with the copper update. So, obviously, we got the new shelves. We got the oxidized copper, the oxidized lightning rods, which big whoop. Chains and lanterns and copper torches, which great. Those are fantastic. I love them. But the big thing, obviously, being the copper golem. Let me see if I can grab the things for this. Okay. Let's just grab a wax block of copper and a pumpkin. Carved pumpkin. There we go. So, yeah. Obviously, with these new features, so the big thing, obviously, being the fact that there is now the new copper golem. I love him. He's great. I think there are some big issues with him, primarily because of the fact that, for one, he's not bad. Let me make that very clear. He is a fantastic mob. I love him. He's cute, awesome, love it. The problem comes about with the fact that he is with his sorting mechanism. While it does work, in the early game especially, I feel like he's once you have access to a good amount of iron and a good amount of redstone, he's gonna become obsolete. So people with already forever worlds are probably going to just give up on using him, which isn't, like, I don't know, it's not a bad thing, but I think that it's gonna be causing a lot of people to basically only play with him for a short while and then they're gonna give up on him. But I don't know. It still looks fun. I think that it's going to be a very fun mechanic to play around with the copper golem. And oops, you are such a pain in the ass. You know that? Here, let's just grab a sword to end this guy. But yeah, get over here. There we go. So, yeah. Great mob, but I also think that there's going to be a lot of challenges with him. I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, we also got the shelf, which, great. I love the way that it functions. I'm excited to see exactly how they're going to mess with it. But, yeah. There's been so many mechanics that they've done with the that people have been doing with the copper shelves, and obviously when it comes to using it for the standard for the way that it's supposed to be used, basically being a or not, yeah, sorry, for the way it's supposed to be used, a lot of people were really excited. Obviously, the game creators were excited to see how people were going to mess around with it, all that jazz. But I think the fact that people have been using it, not for its intended purpose, but to basically allow players to kind of use it as a half slab, I think that's gonna make Mojang realize more and more that the vertical slab is going to be something that they should add sooner rather than later. Um, because yeah, it is something that a lot of players would like to see, and this is basically taking up the place of so many different things that it could be used for. Um, and honestly, what I'm kind of worried about is that because of the fact that the shelf now exists and it's a much more detailed block than what people have been wanting with the vertical slabs. Part of me thinks that they may not necessarily use the wooden variants of vertical slabs all that much, but instead they'll be using if they do decide to with this that they want to use that they want to add vertical slabs. The majority of what people are going to be using vertical slabs for is going to be stuff like in their bases and stuff like that, rather than it being something, I don't know. So I don't know. Another thing that I'm also thinking of what they could use that people will probably use vertical slabs for is basically on one side of the building, on the outside of the building, using the vertical slab. On the inside of the building, they can use basically a different type of vertical slab, and it's still only a block width deep. I think that would be a lot of fun to mess around with if they ever do decide to add vertical slabs. And I think that, like I said, I think that vertical slabs are more likely now that they've seen all of the things that people are using the shelves for that basically could be used by the vertical slab. And especially when it comes to blocks that really it doesn't make much sense to make a shelf for. Like, I could see them doing stuff for, like, the stone and all that jazz, all the different types of stone. It could happen. They could make shelves instead for each of these different blocks. But I think it's more likely that they'll just do vertical slabs instead. You've opened the floodgates, and I think that's the big thing. Or or smaller cubes that are basically the size of, say, your each 1/4 or 1/8 or whatever it is of a block. I could see that happening at some point, just due to the fact that they have shown that is a possibility. So, I don't know. We'll see exactly what they decide to do with that. As for other things that have been added, not really too much was added in this update. When you really sit down to think about it, like, sure, the copper golem. I'm gonna grab a waxed one just for shits and giggles. So obviously the copper golem exists, and I think that is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be really excited to mess around with. And I think one of the best uses of what they could do with the copper golem statues, I think that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to use them for, like, treasure dungeons and stuff like that. Because, like, look at these little fellas. Like, you can do so much with them. And honestly, I would like to see them do more stuff with the poses. Because, like, obviously with a copper golem, they have their searching motion. They have their other things. Like, these little positions, they're great for now. But I do think that, especially considering the fact that there's only, that's only 4 positions for these guys, it does limit the amount of things that you can use them for. So I'm hoping that they will add more poses to them before too long. It's just hard to say exactly when they would do that. But instead, let's talk about the new update. Specifically the zombie horse. And I will go down here to actually, because there's more room down here, to talk about them. So, first off, we've already seen a little bit of the zombie horse, and it's been around forever. Basically, it, along with the skeleton horse, have kind of functioned the same way for years and years. So I'm curious. Where's saddles? Right, it would be in here. Saddle. Okay, grab the saddle. What the hell? Oh, are they not mountable? Okay, they aren't mountable yet. Okay, I guess I was wrong. They were mountable for a while there, so I'm not sure if that's like a glitch that popped up or something. Let's see, skeleton horse. But yeah, so my big thing that I'm wondering with these guys is, will they be something that you're able to... Wait, why is this guy not allowing me to mount up on him? Weird. I don't know why these guys aren't letting me mount up on them. Must be some weird glitch that they're doing, that they have currently. Whatever. But yeah. I'll work it out eventually. But my thinking with one of the things that is like immediately coming to mind when it comes to the zombie with the zombie horse versus the skeleton horse is that the zombie horse is likely going to be a much easier mob to get compared to the skeleton horse. Because currently the skeleton horse is only obtainable if you go into a if you have a thunderstorm, and then obviously the skeleton horses spawn. Which, that's not a bad thing, it's just kind of an odd... it's just a situation that's a little bit tricky to... it's more unlikely than the skeleton... than the zombie horse will be, it sounds like. Sounds to me that basically zombie horses are going to be coming alive pretty much all the time. So one thing that I would do with Mounts of Mayhem is, if they're going to do the zombie horse being a relatively more common thing, make the skeleton horse also more common. Or, if they are going to do something kind of weird, where the zombie horse is not able to be something that you're able to ride on after you kill its rider, maybe the skeleton horse will just be that. Maybe the skeleton horse is just going to be the one that you're going to be able to find once you killed off their rider. Because obviously, the big thing, right... and I'm also wondering if the skeleton horse's ability to be ridden underwater, as well as the zombie horse also had that ability, if that's going to be more of an issue. One thing that I would like to see is that perhaps the zombie horse specifically could turn into a drowned horse. And because what's going to be interesting to see is if a zombie is riding a zombie horse and goes into the water, which I think that is a decent possibility. I think that the zombie horse should be able to turn into a drowned horse. And the interesting thing with that is that the zombie horse being able to be underwater is going to be a bit of an interesting issue, because with this, because they will only be on the bottom of the water. They don't swim, period. So they'll be like running around under here, down in the water, and like you'll be able to avoid them a lot easier, which might be like the best way to handle it. But one thing that I think that they could do to make things a little bit more reasonable is that when they turn into a drowned, it changes from the spear to the trident. However, that also feels like that is going to be something that is going to be very much abused, because people will find these zombie horses with their zombie riders, draw them towards water, have the drowned, have the zombie turn into a drowned, and then kill the zombie to easily get the trident. I think that would be an issue, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe that version of the drowned will not be able to drop trident. I don't know. Different ideas. Because my immediate assumption with it is that the zombie is probably going to stay on the horse, no matter what happens with that. Which isn't a big issue, but yeah. But seriously, why in the world can you not ride spawned ones? I don't know. Weird. Let me see here. Summon. Let me see here. Is this one? No. Okay. No, that doesn't have anything in there. I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually. Not a big freaking deal, but. So wait, is that weird? I don't know. I'll need to figure that out later. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, I think also with the sphere being an implemented item, I don't know. I think that there's one other thing that I think is going to be interesting to see how they deal with it is, are they going to be adding more mounts, or are they going to be adding the ability to ride mounts that weren't previously rideable? Because obviously the Nautilus is... so obviously we're going to have the standard Nautilus. We don't know yet if we're going to be getting... if we're going to be able to ride the zombie Nautilus. And same thing goes for the zombie horse. We don't technically know if we'll be able to ride the zombie horse right away. Or if it's just going to be something that you will eventually be able to ride. Or it's not going to be rideable anymore because of that. It's now being ridden by it's now being ridden by zombies. We don't know. I'm hoping that it's going to be something that will be that will actually be rideable. Thunder. Just setting that to go so it's more likely that we'll get a freaking guy. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, I don't know. Okay. What was I looking at? Okay. But yeah, so let's talk briefly about other mounts. Specifically the I'm going to be talking about the Hoglin, but let's find where is it? There it is. So Hoglins and whatchamadoodles. Hoglins, spiders, frickin' whatchamadoodles. Where is it? Is that thing? No. That's the Vindicator. Ravager, that's what it is. So these three are mounts in various different aspects of the game. Obviously, the Ravager is only ridden by the one guy, but it has a saddle already in there. So part of me wonders if there's going to be a way to tame these guys so that you're then able to ride them. Personally, I would like to see that. Maybe it's like, and it could give like an achievement, freeing this guy or something like that. I don't know. Maybe something of a way to basically signify that, because to me it feels like these guys are kind of being tortured by the way that by the other guys, by the Illagers and such. So I'd like to see them be something that you can actually like tame, and maybe it's like you're making them better. I don't know. Same thing goes for spiders. I don't necessarily think that spiders are going to be something that you're going to be able to ride. Just due to the fact that they are so complicated. They're smaller than like any other mob. But at the same time, it could be fun to see that being a possibility. Maybe if you... to me, I think the best way that they could handle it is for spiders to basically spawn at night. And then in the daytime, if you happen to find one that was a spider jockey, then you're able to tame it. But maybe not. And then, last but not least, the Hoglins / the Zoglins. Since these guys are already able to be ridden by the other guys, then I don't know. It could be by the Piglins and all that jazz. It could be interesting to see how that works. But on top of that, I believe, and I'll need to be certain. Let me double check this to be sure. I think that they're only afraid of the warped fungus. Let me see here. Is that guy afraid of it? No, doesn't seem like the... Okay. Let me see. Are you afraid of it? Yeah, afraid of it, right? So he's afraid of that. Let me do another test really quick of this. I don't think that these guys are afraid of that. Nope. See, like, he's walking away, but you can clearly tell that that's just like a standard walk compared to what that guy was doing, where it was like a, get me away from this piece of crap. So, to me, it sounds like something that they could do is that they could have the crimson fungus be something that you can breed with these guys, and it will and then that will allow them to be tamed. Like they're scared of warped fungus, but maybe for crimson fungus they're just like, yes, please, that sounds delicious. And that will allow you to tame them. And then you'll be able to ride them. Because obviously the Piglins have figured out a way to ride these guys, but we haven't. So I don't know. I'd like to be able to. I'd like to see more of that. I've also said multiple times that I would like to see wargs be added, which they could basically function just like werewolves, or not like werewolves, like wolves. They would just spawn like wolves or something like that, but they're much bigger. Because comparatively, let's grab a horse and let's grab a wolf, just for shits and giggles to look at this properly. Okay. So a wolf and a horse. That's a mule. Where the frick is the horse? Am I blind? There it is. So horse, cool. Dog, small. So increase the size of the wolf, and maybe give it like an extra layer is what I would say, where it like has like some fluffier bits, and it becomes a warg. Fairly simple way of doing it, and I think that and then it could just function like a horse. And comparatively, it could basically function as maybe a mount for it could just be a mount for the standard mobs, but I don't think that they would. I don't think that they would just have it be a mount for one of the standard mobs. I don't think that a zombie or a skeleton is probably not going to ride that when they already have their other mounts, especially the skeleton already having the spider mount, and now the zombie getting this. Yeah, because skeletons have 2 mounts right now. They have the spider, and they have now the skeleton horse. But obviously, the skeleton horse is only in a very specific situation, which I'm very much surprised that they are not actually spawning, because they're supposed to spawn. They are supposed to spawn right now. I don't know I don't know why they're not, but whatever. Not super important right now, but I don't know. Maybe there is one somewhere, but I just am not finding it. But you get my point. You get my point with how exactly these things could function. I don't know. I think My biggest concern when it comes to the new update is the fact that it's called Mounts of Mayhem. And as much as one, the new horse, or the zombie horse finally being available to get, and the new Nautilus mob, as much as that sounds really fun, it also to me feels like they should have more mounts. And most likely they will confirm whether or not there are going to be more mounts sooner rather than later. But it's probably still going to be quite a while before that actually happens. So, yeah. I don't know. Because, and another thing. Just another aspect that is just immediately coming to mind. Right now, there are a ton of land mounts. There is the camel, there is the horse, there is the donkey, there's the llama. Each of these has like a specific use. And now we're adding, and then obviously there's the skeleton horse, and now there's going to be the zombie horse. This is going to be the first aquatic mount. So part of me wonders if there's going to be more use for it, if there's going to be more aquatic mounts, and if there's going to be more sky mounts. Because right now the only sky mount is, of course, the Happy Gas. Which, granted, the Happy Gas is great, but it's also much slower. I don't know. I think with the mounts, it kind of feels like there's a hierarchy. So right now there is the horse, which is currently it is the fastest land mount that you're able to get, and horses and camels to a certain camels have that special dash ability, so they're a little bit better, but those two are your basic running mounts. So I could see them being a little bit more than that. I think the other aspect of it is if each mount probably has to have like a different use, and a certain hierarchy. When it comes to flying, the big thing is the Happy Gas being able to. It's relatively slow. I think about the same speed as the player walking. In fact, yeah. Maybe a little bit slower than the player walking. But the whole point of it is that it allows you to build higher up. And that is basically creative mode in survival when it comes to the flight mechanic. So, I don't know. I feel like they could do more with that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Another aspect that is kinda coming to mind is not camels, but llamas. So llamas are basically our pack animal. I didn't want that. I didn't want the trader llama. I wanted the regular llama. And even with a frickin' is this guy not tamed? Oh, I guess I have to tame this fucker. So even with the llama being something that you can tame, you can't really control it ever. So let me just shoot. If I grab a new wall, that works. All right. So I can't control him, right? So I would say that one thing that they should do is give us some way to be able to control these guys, because currently all they're really useful for is pack animals. What are you not? Are you not? There you go. And obviously you can use like you can use a lead, and then other llamas will follow. But with that, let me rules. So with that, so this guy, now both of these guys will follow me, right? And like, granted, that's a cool feature and all, but at the same time, I feel like they could do more stuff with this. Like it basically feels like, oh, get on the like, sure, you can get on a horse and then lead the rest of these guys. But like, I don't know. I feel like there should be some I don't know, something to give these guys so you can ride one of them and then actually like control where they're going. Because yeah, there's just like that's just me flying, which if creative flight is about the same, is a little bit slower, I believe, than like the fastest horses. Like I'm not even doing the sprint thing at all, and I can already lose these guys. So if I'm gonna ride on a freaking horse or whatever, I will lose these guys for sure. So I don't know. There's some. I feel like there's a lot of things that they could do better. Obviously, you can leash these guys together, and it's a little bit better. Oops. Why are you not allowing me to? There we go. So yeah, this way they're pretty connected, right? So less likely to lose these guys. That's good. I like that. I like that. That's a possibility that we can do. But obviously, it can be problematic to say the least. I don't know. I'm my big so yeah. Another thing as well that I would like to see is more minecart stuff. I've said before, copper minecarts. Since this is Mounts of Mayhem, and we do know that there is a minecart upgrade-ish thing with the experiment tab that is coming soon. I'm hoping that that is going to be something that we'll be able to actually mess around with. The big problem comes about with the so I don't know. With this update, I think that the big thing that they need to fix is just put the frickin' minecart into its actual upgrade. Give it its upgrade that we've been waiting for years. Well, not for years, but a little while. That needs to happen. And then on top of that, I don't think that we necessarily need a boat upgrade. I really don't. I think that it's a fine system already. They've already improved it so significantly. Like, this is significantly faster than it was like even a few years ago. It was significantly worse. I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think they need to improve this. Even with the Nautilus coming, I don't think that they need to improve the boat at all. Already with with ice boats, it's fantastic. With all other sorts types of mounts, being in the water, great. I love it. I don't think that we need to worry about them ever adding. I don't think they're going to do anything new to the boat for a good long while, because it just works, and I'm fine with it. I think that a lot of players are fine with this, with the way that the boat is working. I don't think they need to update it. Like, I'm over, like, just with this, I'm already able to get around to this massive area fairly quickly. So I think that boats are fine. I think that they won't be doing anything to change how boats function. I think that there is a possibility that they will do something with that they could, but I don't think that they need to, and I don't think they're going to, because it's kind of pointless at this point in time. And then as for the but when it comes to, obviously, minecarts, they've been talking about that forever. I think that that will be probably updating relatively soon. I don't know exactly when, but I think that that will probably be getting improvements soon. One of the things that I have said about these guys, and let me actually grab some minecarts and some other stuff. So let's grab these guys, some rails, and some minecarts. Okay, and then grab a happy gas. Cool. So okay. So bop, bop. Okay, he's in there, right? Great. I love that's fantastic. So this is pretty much the only way that you're able to get, probably one of the best ways to do trains and stuff that there is to basically leash two of these guys. Bop. Ah. Why? Why are you like this? Let me grab a sword again. Okay. Can we get you back into this thing? It would be great. No. I don't know. There was something that I saw like a while ago that was basically showing this. It's impossible. I don't know if I'm able to do this right now because these guys are annoying. But basically, one of the way if you want like a minecart type dealy bob, where all the these guys are connected, that's pretty much your option. Is to basically leash happy gas together and hope for the best. But there's like no way to connect to these things, which has been a problem forever. They need to fix that. I have said before, and I'll probably say it a few dozen more times. I think that they could probably do something along the lines of. Can I get you in here? Okay, you're in there, right? Yes, I think you are. Yes, good. Okay, so that's that one. Let me grab another one. So then you come here, come here, come here. Bop, bop. I think this will work. I think this is how this works. If I'm remembering correctly. Yep, good. And then we go down. We get him into this thing. Oh, whoops. Minecart fell off. Alright, try that one more time. Alright, so wait, are they connected? Are these guys aren't connected anymore? Fucking hell. Okay. But you get my point. You can do some cool stuff with that and leash them together, and that's like someone proved the concept like a while ago. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but you get my point. But yeah, you can basically leash these guys together and get them into the minecarts and blah 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 blah. Cool. Moving on. I don't know. There should be something like that where more stuff to do with minecarts. Specifically, like, I would be fine if minecarts stayed the same. Would I like to have, like, an actual buildable train, like, from the Create mod? Yes, that would be fantastic. Yes, please. Please give that to me. But, at the same time, one thing that I would like to see a little bit more would be minecarts being able to be connected. Because boats are able to be connected. You're able to connect pretty much every other freaking mob using your leads. Like, obviously you can't leash hostile mobs. Big whoop. That's a little bit annoying. But they also will follow you pretty significantly if you attack them. But yeah, so like do something with the leads. Do some maybe I don't know. One thing that would be fun for me at least is doing something along the lines of, hey, you can maybe there is a hostile mob lead or something like that. that is a little bit, maybe it could be a little bit more dangerous. I don't know, but that could be fun. Maybe it would only be something that would be in creative, but I don't know. But I think, can we these guys? I think we can. Yeah, you can lead these guys. Okay, good. But I don't know. Something fun. I think that they could do a lot of really fun stuff with the update, and I think that we will be seeing more of that before too long. So why is only the zombie horse dropping their freaking head? I don't know. Not important. Really not important right now. Okay. But yeah, I think another aspect to the that I would like to briefly discuss when it comes to weapons is, do we think that there's going to be more weapons added besides the spear? Personally, I would like to assume that there will be. But also, my big question when it comes to the spear is, why is there no stone? Why is there no wood? Because currently those, as far as we're aware, those two are not coming. And I feel weird that that's not going to be a thing. Because at least stone, like, I can kind of understand wood to a certain degree. I can understand not wanting to do wood. But I feel like stone makes more sense. I don't know. To me, here's what I would do: is instead of it being wood and stone, is if we're not going to be having those two, but instead we're just going to have copper, iron, gold, diamond, and netherite for the spear. What if for the simpler versions instead we could do, I don't know, flint? That's one thing that some people have been like theorizing. I don't understand why people want it to be like harder to get these things. Like like what I've been seeing a lot of people saying is like, you should put a flint and then you should have the extra blocks. To me, it looks pretty well balanced, so I don't think that they really need to do something like that. But what I would like to see is the possibility of flint, maybe amethyst, being items that you could put on your spears, and maybe they could have some special properties. Maybe the flint one never goes down, but it also can't do as much damage, because that's kind of something that that we saw with the exact uses of this. It won't have as much of a weight issue. Its weight issue will be practically non-existent compared to like all of the other ones. Maybe if we did like an amethyst one, it would be a little bit more magical. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of factors that will go into this. Another aspect that is kind of like coming to mind that I would like to see is something for the end, because right now there isn't the only way to get around in the end is to pull a horse through the end portal, or to which is probably like your worst idea, or to summon a happy ghast in there. And while either of those are decent options, I feel like there should be more options than those. And then obviously you can get the elytra later on. But one thing that I would like to see is another mount for the end. I also would like to see, based on the fact that Nautiluses are going to be getting netherite armor, which sounds cool and all. I don't know. It feels kind of weird to me. I actually want to talk about horse armor as well. About that. So Nautilus armor is going to have copper, iron, gold, diamond, and then netherite, supposedly. But we don't have a netherite horse armor. So we do need to get at some point netherite horse armor. as well as obviously the nether, as well as if we're going to get that, we should probably see that. I'm actually some people have said, why aren't we getting another leather? Um, why aren't we getting a leather Nautilus armor? I think the reason for that is just because leather underwater is actually like a really weird, really bad idea. So I don't think that they're going to add leather armor. They may add something that would allow you to do some more customization um, with that, but I also don't think that that's necessarily going to be something that's going to be pretty common. I think the big issue with it is like how exactly would you do that? Um, because when it comes leather, the leather horse armor is the only horse armor that is not findable in chests, but it would also mean that the leather, because you can craft it, obviously. Let me actually grab like a whole shit ton of leather for this example, and let's grab a let's grab one of these. Okay, so obviously when it comes to leather horse armor, it's that, right? So my question would be like, what exactly would be the Nautilus armor? Would it be something like this? Like that would be what my assumption would be, and then you'd be able to do the exact whatever, blah 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 blah. But like I said, leather doesn't really work that well in water, and I think that that's why they're not doing it. But with the netherite armor, to me, that is sounding like they are working. Not necessarily that it's going to be soon. It will probably be like one of the last mobs that the last things that gets added into the update. But to me, it sounds like that could mean lava nautiluses, which would they would spawn in the lava, and you could find them. Is it going to be a challenge to find them? Absolutely, it should be a challenge to find them, because they're probably going to be mostly under the lava. But it could also mean, and they would be nether. Obviously, they would be nether mobs. But with that, the possibility of the lava of a lava nautilus also opens the possibility for more stuff to be done under the lava. So my guess as to how it would function is that when you have a lava nautilus, not only do you so instead of getting the breath of the nautilus ability, you instead get a fireproof ability. So you're able to go into the lava while also being fire resistant. So with and that would and also a better vision, probably at the same level as as with the water breathing, or I don't know, probably close. I don't know if it would be at this level of vision for under the lava, or more likely, it would be conduit level. Would be interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's hard to say. Um, I could also see them doing something along the lines of there being more water mobs, just due to the fact that with the Nautilus being added. Let's see here. Do I have a? I'm thinking with an ocean. This is actually like probably more with my fake aquatic area. This is about the same level of life that we see in the water normally, with maybe an occasional fish, an occasional turtle, an occasional dolphin. But with that, and also very rarely a turtle or drowned or blah 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 blah, whatever. Your various different mobs. This is basically what you see underwater most of the time. And while this is nice, I feel like they could do more stuff under here. And especially since they are giving us a mob that is going to allow us to travel under the water great distances for a long period of time, I'm hoping that they will add more I could see them adding more aquatic biomes. because at this point in time, it's basically the coral reef, the cold ocean, and the warm ocean. Um, I think there's also the possibility of a deep ocean biome where there could be like new mobs, all sorts of new aquatic mobs would be under there. That would be fun. Um, Maybe a aquatic slime, because people have actually that is actually something that does exist in one of the various versions of Minecraft. I think it's in dungeons. Um, but yeah, they could do a lot more stuff with that. That would be, I think that would be fun, personally. Um, but yeah. Another thing that I want to bring up is the Nautilus shell. So at this point in time, the Nautilus shell is fairly challenging to get. The only way to get it is from specific drowned that are holding Nautilus shells. That is the only way to get those things. And granted, that's a decent use for it. I think that's a fantastic way of using them. But when it comes with the Nautilus being implemented fully, it means that if you kill a Nautilus, I don't know which, it might be, it might just be zombie Nautiluses, it might be both. Maybe it would only be the regular Nautilus. But when you kill them, you will get a Nautilus shell. For sure. That is pretty much a guarantee that that's going to be a thing. People are probably not going to necessarily be going as much to kill standard Nautiluses as they might be going for zombie Nautiluses, just due to the fact that the regular Nautilus is a mount. That means that there should be more uses for the Nautilus shell. Because at this point in time, the only use for the Nautilus shell is to fuse it with a Heart of the Sea, and then you get the conduit. That's fine. But the thing is that already there are farms that can easily build up Nautilus shells from drowned farms. So my concern with it, obviously with the drowned farm, the main reason that you make a drowned farm is actually for the copper. It's not for the Nautilus shell. You do it for the copper, you do it for the tridents. That's why you make it as a drowned farm. But Nautilus shells are something that you can easily get from them. So my concern with it is that there's no uses yet for the Nautilus shell except for the Heart of the Sea, using them with the Heart of the Sea to make the conduit. There needs to be more stuff with it, whether it be a Nautilus shell block or a Nautilus shell armor, which could have like some specialized use. One of the things that I've seen some people talk about with it is that the Nautilus shell armor or whatever, I think that it could make you move faster under the water, because I think, is this, let me see, is this sprinting? This is sprinting in under the water, and while this is a decent speed, comparatively, walking is significantly faster, even under yeah. In fact, actually, let's go down here. So this is walking speed under the water. This is swim speed, and this is swim speed without regular thing. And then obviously walking on land, significantly faster. So maybe when we get Nautilus armor, it could function as basically allowing you to go faster. I would say that the Nautilus itself should be the fastest, should be a fast form of travel, maybe equivalent to a horse. Exactly how fast, we don't know yet. We'll test it out when the update happens, but we don't know when that's happening. My guess, as the earliest that the pre-releases will be coming out, is Tuesday. At the earliest, I don't see it happening anytime sooner than that, unless there has been like something. Let me actually check that, because there might be something. Was there? Okay, there was a release candidate recently, but that was basic. That's I don't think the release candidate is this thing already. I don't know. They did a release candidate relatively recently. I think that it's probably just like a bug fix, is my guess. So, yeah. I don't see that. I don't know. I'm not too concerned with it. I think that it's just a bug fix update, but there's a possibility that it's more than that. I don't even see anything about a beta right now. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot with it, and there's a lot of details that we don't have yet. So, hopefully we get some information about it soon. Like I said, with my guess, is that at the earliest, we would probably get the Mount of Mayhem first snapshot being on Tuesday. So, yeah. But we should talk about the mannequin. So let's summon a mannequin. / summon mannequin. Can I? I'm assuming I can already do the player thing. I don't know how to do this, but we'll just leave that as Alex for now. So we've got the mannequin, right? So that's going to be, to me, this feels like it should be something that is going to be much more useful than it currently is. To me, I feel like this is setting up for a, not necessarily, I don't know. Let's see here. Let me just give. Let's see here. Are you able to equip these, or do I have to throw this at you? Okay, that's just giving it to me. Are they able to? No. Okay, so they don't pick them up, so that's fine. I don't know exactly. I'd have to mess around with the mannequin quite significantly. But my point with the mannequin, I want to talk about the mannequin. I think that the mannequin should be something that we will get to properly mess around with. Maybe not in survival right away, but a feature that I could see happening is giving us a item in creative mode, similar to the debug stick, which basically function as allowing you to interact with the mannequin so you can determine a lot of different features. Because from what I understand with the summoning mannequins is that there is a lot of details that are in here. So let me see here. If we do this, player equals, oops. Ooh. No. Let me try doing it through this. No? Okay. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. I haven't really looked into the exact details with the mannequin. But my big thing with it is that it could mean a lot of really interesting details with it. Just for an example of what I'm talking about. If we do... so previously I have created what I've called the in the past a custom NPC type Dealy Bob, which uses where are they? There's the armor stand. So with an armor, so basically the way that I've created a custom NPC in the past is torch. Yeah, and then put a button next to them, and basically there's a few different things that you can do with it. You can obviously put the button there. You can put the if you make an exclamation point above the guy, which is something that I've done. Let me grab a gold block for the example. So what I've done in the past is basically, where is it? Here it is. Something along the lines of this. Probably you would actually do it one block higher. Oops. So I've done something along the lines of this, where either you hit the button there and it basically activates it via stuff that's directly underneath, or you can have something virtually where it's constantly detecting to see if this has been activated, and if it is activated, then it will actually cause you to be teleported to, or not necessarily teleport, but it could do like the various different things that involve a custom NPC, and that's something that that is a possibility currently. I'm imagining with with what they could do with the mannequin, is instead of it being something along those lines where, yeah, you can, it would be something that it could be completely functional via the player. Or the player could, a creative mode player, specifically someone who is an operator, would get a block, would get a specific tool that could go in here, and we'll just use the debug stick for now. They could right click on the ground, and it would summon the standard guy, and it could basically function exactly like your the old custom NPC mod. And it starts off with the mannequin, with the standard mannequin. So, again, summoning mannequin. If I were to if I right click on the mannequin, it'd pop up with an exact detailed description of how this would function, and you can choose. Okay, choose the player skin, choose the model, and it would be basically a list. And you could have it basically function where the mannequin could look like pretty much any mob in the world, and you could choose like different features of it. Do you want it to be something that is maybe certain features would be a lot, maybe they would have specific models that you could do. Maybe you could import your models, depending on what exactly they do. But yeah, you could do all sorts of different things. There's a lot of details with the mannequin, and I feel like they need to make it like something that is actually easy to handle. And like I said, it could just be a creative tool. It could be something that you can only do if you have creative mode. The other possibility is that it's actually something that is a bit more challenging to do. Something that I would like, that I could see them doing, is it could be something that you need a specific type of rod. Maybe there's a new type of breeze. Maybe there's a new type of blaze or breeze that you can fight. Basically, this should be something that you are only able to do maybe in the end game. Maybe you have to have defeated the Ender Dragon in order to do this. Maybe you have to defeat the Wither. I could see it be something where you get a Nether Star, and I don't know, just for shits and giggles, we'll use a blaze and a breeze rod. And you can then craft said item into basically being your and that's how you get the actual thing. Yeah. In fact, yeah. This is here's my pitch for what this recipe could be. That magic wand that is basically just gonna function like a freaking and it will basically function exactly like the old custom NPC mod. I think that one of the big things that I have a problem with when it comes to the old custom NPC mod is it's so simple of a recipe. The old recipe was literally 2 sticks and bread, and there were various different tools with it. And as much as that's cool, it also means that one of the things that you could do with it is you could set up a freaking merchant that would sell you an item that would basically just give you an item. You get 1 diamond, give it to the frickin' guy to make the NPC, and then boom, you've got infinite diamonds for free. And that was like one of the big issues that I had with that old mod. And you could do that with all sorts of different things. And you didn't even have to necessarily do certain things. I think that allowing the player to basically make something, like if it's something that is end game, I don't really see as much of an issue with it. But one thing that I would do is that there has to be at least 1 item on both sides of the freaking thing. And like I said, if it's going to be something that you can do in survival Minecraft, which I don't think it should be, it has to be something that is expensive, something that is not easy to do. Because if it is something that is extremely easy for players to do, people are going to abuse the hell out of it. So if it's something that you can create a custom NPC that will trade with you, I don't see a problem with it if it is a reasonable trade. I think that is something that is going to be a major issue with exactly how they're going to mess around with it. It has to have something for something. It cannot be something that will just give you infinite diamonds. And maybe there is something that is like a proportional value type dealy bob. Because currently, as much as I love, I think villagers can be a little bit too easy. But it has, but even like using that value system could determine exactly how well this works. Basically, giving each item a specific value, and you have to give it, and the trade will not work in the custom NPC unless it is the correct item. Unless, and this is a big unless, you specifically have something that will actually work functionally. So, yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of different details with it, and I'm hoping that they do this properly. That is my big concern. Make sure that this is something that is done properly and not just thrown together at the last minute. If it's too easy, it's gonna be a problem. If it's too hard, then it's also gonna be a problem. And I'm hoping that that. Are we reconnecting? Sorry, brief disconnection. I don't know what has been with OBS lately. So I have this thing right now, which is a randomizer type dealy bob. So this is a randomizer. I'm not going to get into exactly how that functions. But I have this thing, which is basically for Blood on the Clock Tower type dealy bob. If you don't know what Blood on the Clock Tower is, it's a social deduction game. This was basically a map made for that. And why is this having issues? Okay, that's a glitch. That needs to be fixed. But yeah, so I have this as basically a randomizer. So it will basically grab the first 9 items from your box, which is fine. That's a fine way of doing it. And then it randomizes as you hit the button to see exactly what your specific job is. That's part of the reason why this randomizer is separate from this randomizer, because this allows there to be a lot more randomization. But I basically have to do this entire building first, and then that whole thing, in order to get something that is somewhat random. because if we look at exactly how this thing functions, so first off, it takes the items from here, puts them into a dropper, which randomizes the dropping rate, which then randomly spins them around in the cycle, which then occasionally this hopper unlocks, which allows an item to go through into the next level, which then has another item, and then I don't, and then it again randomly will cause this to happen, to drop. There's all sorts of like there's like 3 levels of there's so many levels of randomness just to get this thing to function exactly how I want it to function, where it's actually fully randomized. And yeah, it's, like I said, complicated. Make something that is like gives you like a random it'll give you like a random item or a random number from a selected number of items, and you can instantly make things so much easier. Like all the different like I have so many I can't properly convene all of the different ideas that I have for what you could do with a custom NPC thing. Give it a randomizer, give it a freaking be a quest giver, various different things like that. Why is this, seriously, why is this having issues? I don't understand why this is having issues. Is there oh, this, because this written book is broken, that's why. Fuck you. Okay, I'll need to rewrite that, whatever, that's fine. Is this one also broken? This one's not broken. Is that because this is tick book? That's because that's just a book and quill. That's why. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so something's wrong with that written book up there. I don't know what I did wrong. But yeah, you could do like all sorts of different things with a custom NPC. You could have it be basically function like a lectern. You can because we all know how fun lecterns are. Like I said, there's various different things that you can do with a lot of different details when it comes to this type of thing. And I don't know. I'd like to see them do some fun details with randomizers, with you can actually have like a conversation, you can set up a quest, all sorts of things. I messed around quite a bit a few years ago with actually figuring out exactly how custom NPCs work, and doing there's a lot of different details that you can mess around with to actually make a really interesting mob. Even something that is not necessarily able to be, even in survival Minecraft, using just like armor stands, or not survival, but in vanilla Minecraft, you can do so many cool things with it. I'm hoping that the Mannequin will open up these possibilities. And I'm hoping that the like, I'm fine with it keeping the name Mannequin. It's a dumb name. I kind of love it, but it could basically function as an NPC. And with the ability, you could basically type in a player's name, and it will automatically choose that character. Or there could also be like a selection of skins that they have in their system. I could see it being like basically each of the major developers, as well as like a few different things that are just like standard skins that like all the different player skins, all the developers, as well as like a few other things that you can just like have a list for it. And then you can also like actually type in the specific player name, or you can import your own skins, various different things like that. There's a lot with it. I've messed around significantly with details when it comes to the to mobs like that, especially with the old custom NPC thing. So I'm hoping that they do some fun shit with it. That's my big point. What was I talking about? Yeah. And then there's like I said, I'm hoping that one of the big things that I've been thinking about for a while is they have been setting up so many little things in the background that I think that there's a decent possibility that next year, it could be as early as next year, it could be longer. I'm not going to guess exactly how long it's going to take. But I could see next year, as early as next year, as late as maybe a few years from now, we get Minecraft 2.0. And it's a massive overhaul to the entire game. Because we know that there's a lot of mobs that still need to come into the game. There are a lot of why does Prismarine look like so weird in that? It's not what it. I don't know. That's weird. That might just be my eyes being messy. We know that there's a ton of mobs that need to be added. There's a ton of features that need to be added. And 2.0 could basically be this massive update that we could see soonish, and could implement all of these different things. It could fully redo a shit ton of things. And I think that... and with it, it would allow them to kind of reset certain things. If they want to continue doing the drop system idea, it would allow them to properly rework the issue that a lot of people have been having for a while now, where certain features are just like the way that the numbering system works is just bizarre. Like we're currently on 1.21.9, and we're about to enter 1.21.10, which is, as far as I'm aware, 1.21.10 is just a bug fix update. But no, I don't know. It's weird, and with Mounts of Mayhem being like most likely 1.21 point whatever, 1.21.11 is currently my guess as to what it's going to be. We don't know when we're going to be getting 1.22. We don't know when anything like that. It's been weird for a while, the fact that we're at 1.21 instead of going eventually to 2. So I'm hoping that they will be doing Minecraft 2.0. And it could be a massive upgrade. It could be just something that is basically like, hey, we're reworking the system. Here's what is how it's going to function from now on. Drops are going to be the 2 point whatever, and these will be pretty. They'll be big, but they're not going to be as big as in previous years, where it was just like these massive freaking updates. So it will allow them to have a little bit more control. It will allow us to have a lot more fun. I don't know. Like I said, it's a complicated issue that is not going to have a simple answer. But it's interesting, to say the least. So, I don't know. All sorts of details that need to be messed around with to actually get this to be fully functional. But yeah. And I also would like to I also think another detail that I've said for a while is that some of the add-ons that they've done for beta Minecraft, I think that some of these should be added fully into the game. Just for an example, they did the recent friendly fishing add-on, which added like so many different fish types. I don't necessarily think that they need to add all of them, but like some of them would be fantastic to see them mess around with. Breathe more life into the underwater world. And have it be something that can just spawn, have things that will just spawn in the underwater. Because right now, I don't even think fish will spawn in here, because this is technically a plains biome, which is annoying. This is like fully man-made water, but because so fish won't spawn in here, squids won't spawn in here, nothing is gonna spawn in here, which is annoying. But I don't know. More mobs is my big thing. I want to see more mobs be implemented into Minecraft, and I'm hoping that it's going to be something soon. Like I said, we'll see exactly how things play out, but yeah, give us more chaos. That's all. Just give us more chaos. That's the big thing. I'm hoping that they don't necessarily have to listen to every single bit of this. And I've been rambling for a while about random different details. I'm hoping that they give us more flowers, give us more crops, give us more all these different things. My big thing, I've said this for a while, breathe life into the game. Stuff that you wouldn't necessarily expect. I've like one of the big things that I've said is what they could do is they could have mods around like lanterns and junk. Various different lighting blocks could attract mods, would be fine. And yeah, like I think the big thing that I want to bring up is the idea that there is a lot of life out there. Sure, creatures won't. If we don't have that many creatures in Minecraft comparatively, and I'd like to see more. I'd like to see like deer and various different mobs that are just like out in the world. Like, why in the world? My big question is why are the only animals farm animals? There should just be like wild animals all over the place. In my personal opinion, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'm hoping that they will at least be looking into this, and that's like the big reason why I think that they will at some point do a Minecraft 2.0, and I think that they're going to add like various different mobs that can just be around. They've done a great job in breathing life into the game with like the leaf particles, with with a firefly bush, and I'm hoping that they're going to be adding more particles soon that players will just be able to really engage with. But I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it there for the stream. I know that this was a relatively short stream. Tomorrow is gonna be Final Fantasy Friday. We'll just so we'll be doing a lot of that stuff. We'll probably be going in depth with the new update that's coming out on Tuesday as we play, and then standard freaking nerd chat on Sunday, and yeah, standard schedule stuff. Hopefully, you guys will be really excited to see what is going to be coming up in next week with Ghost of Yote. I'm gonna finally be checking. I'm finally gonna be doing a let's play of that because that's coming out tomorrow, or that's coming out today. So yeah. Anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's live stream. I've been Electric Ninja, and I'll see you guys next time. But on.